Yeah, oh yeah, we're live now. We always say some good shit before we even go live. So Aaron, of course, he goes, "Fuck it, go live." He was like, "You ever seen that? Was it Bill O'Reilly's like, fuck it, we're doing live." That shit just happened right now.
That's right.
Anyway,
We get rid of like 50% of our funny, and nobody ever gets to see it.
all right. Anyway, welcome to Keyboard Warriors. This is the second episode in 1 week. So you're welcome, motherfuckers. With me, as always, from Gem City Fighting and Standing Bang Radio, Fred Kirby. What's up, dude?
What's happening, fellas? What's happening?
And from Standing Bang Radio, Aaron Robbins. How you doing, man?
I am doing absolutely fantastic.
Andrew Reed, pop the bottle. You're getting started already. Anyway, yeah. So earlier this week, we actually got on Monday. It was a day early, and now we're a couple of days after a second show in the week mostly because of Jon Jones. So we talked a lot of shit about Jon Jones on Monday, and the decision came down that Jon Jones is to be stripped of the title and suspended indefinitely. First, Aaron, your reaction when you heard that?
All right, now, on Monday, if you were watching the show, I was actually the one who said I didn't think anything would happen. And the reason I said that is because of how athletes and celebrities are normally treated. This is one instance where I'm happy to admit I was wrong, and I'm very impressed with the powers that be. I was shocked. I had to double and triple check the sources because there were like people just tweeting it out, but I didn't see, you know what I mean, like Fox or MMA Fighting or anything like that confirming it. And then once it was confirmed, I watched it on TV. Dana did his little blurb. Yep, we're stripping the title and suspending him indefinitely. So I, for one, am happy that the organization did what was right. I'm happy to admit that I was wrong, and yes, absolutely shocked that it went down. And then I know that the three of us have talked about this. I kind of wonder how much of this was Reebok motivated, being that there's $70 million over 6 years being pumped into the UFC. Jon Jones was stripped of his sponsorship from Reebok immediately, which makes him the only athlete ever that was stripped by Reebok and Nike within 8 months. You gotta kind of wonder how much influence they had when you're talking about that much money. So that was my reaction. I was actually shocked.
All right, and I think we did me and myself and Nick Pilecki did our 5 round show on Wednesday. We were talking about that, and Andrew Reed actually tweeted that over, saying he was wondering how much Reebok had to do with it, and it's a really good point. You know, just like you said, all that money, I mean, that goes to the UFC, and the sponsorship they had with Jon Jones directly, just like you said, second one he loses from a big company in 8 months. Nike bailed, and after the first incident, and now Reebok bails. Makes you wonder what would happen, or would Reebok take him back when and if he comes back to the UFC? Fred, when you heard this news of Jon Jones getting stripped and suspended, what'd you think?
I wasn't all that surprised, actually, man. Me and Aaron had a conversation earlier where Aaron said that, Dana White tends to do this shit from time to time. Like, Dana White had put out a statement saying that was kind of like Jon Jones' last chance. Fucking people can say what they want to about Dana White and the UFC. I honestly do believe that they care about the sport. Do they care about lining their fucking pockets? Abso-fucking-lutely. But on the same token, they didn't get in this shit thinking it was going to blow up like this. I think they genuinely care, man. And I like Dana White's kind of fucking rebel attitude, man. He fucking did what needed to be done, right? And I think that, when the UFC fucks up, everybody jumps down their asshole immediately. But this was the right call, right? They fucking took his title and they suspended him indefinitely. I think that they deserve a lot of kudos. Like Aaron said, man, good on them for finally fucking doing the right thing in this situation. And, I mean, yeah, Reebok's probably fucking salty. They're obviously not thrilled about this. But honestly, again, I was talking to Aaron about this earlier. I think this just became the most interesting and important story in our sport right now by a long shot. I mean, you got the fucking greatest fighter on planet Earth right now going through a crazy, tumultuous situation in probably the prime of his fucking life. Now, Aaron brought up the point earlier that most of the time when athletes go through something like this, when they come back, they're never really the same. And that's a good point, man. If he goes to rehab and a bunch of crazy shit happens, it's really hard to tell what kind of Jon Jones is going to come back to us. But I think that's very interesting because all the cats that believe in Jon Jones think that, maybe he can turn it around. And listen, look how fucking good the guy is. If he's been doing this fucking doing blow and banging broads and not taking shit half-ass seriously, can you fucking imagine if he was the guy who he led us to believe he was in the beginning? The type of cat that's a real Christian, that works out hard and is a real martial artist and trains and takes this shit seriously, he would be fucking scary dangerous. So it's like this pendulum where he could come back and kind of be shite or come back and be even better than he was before. It's interesting as fuck, man. So I wasn't all that surprised, honestly, though. I think that fucking Dana White and the UFC brass care about the sport, and no matter who you are, if you fuck up to the wrong degree, they will bust your ass.
Yeah, and yeah, Dana White's only gonna take so much shit before he finally gets in that ass, just like you were saying. And he actually came out and said this is his last chance, or that was his last chance.
Right. I wanted to mention that because I know, Eddie, you saw that article. Fred and I talked about that. This is your last chance. Okay, I don't believe that it's his last chance. I think that now he's going to have to go do some soul searching and rehab or whatever. But this also, the part that pisses me off, and here comes the rant portion of my opinion. Again, it's the fans. Don't question the UFC and the upper brass when they do the right thing. There are so many little assholes over on Facebook and Twitter going, well, they shouldn't have stripped the title. He's the best fighter in the world. Don't do that. How can you do that? Of course you do that. You have to set precedent. These are athletes. It's the same thing with Thiago Silva. In a much more extreme case, the same thing with Grisby. Is that his name? Grisby? And War Machine. Things like this. We won't tolerate this out of our athletes. If you are a straight-up criminal and you continue to engage in criminal activities, there will be consequences, no matter how much we love you, no matter how many oblique kicks you throw, no matter how many times you poke people in the eye, you're going to have to face the consequences. And so, like Kirby said, good on the upper brass. This shows that ultimately they are legitimizing. Because if we weren't a league and a sport that was legitimizing, maybe this would be swept under the rug. Maybe there would be a way to spin this. So, all of you idiots, stop saying it was a bad decision. If you like Jon Jones, that's great. Send him a letter in rehab. Send him a whole bunch of support. Send him some crosses. Have him sign your letters, whatever. But don't question when the company does the right thing, because you're the same fuckers that'll switch 180 degrees and shit on them when you think they did the wrong thing.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, sorry.
If you're a Jon Jones fan, you want him out right now. The fucking guy is not doing what he needs to do. I am a fucking Jon Jones fan, man, and he needs to be in fucking rehab. If he wants to get his shit together, you don't want him to get a slap on the wrist, right? If you're really close to this guy and you want him to fucking really perform at his full potential, you want the fucking guy. If I'm what's that fucking prick's name? His manager, Maui Kauai. I have a horrible time pronouncing that prick's name. That fucking guy wants him in rehab. He does not like this shit. Dana White wants him in rehab. They want him to come back and perform. They don't want him fucking up, man.
They don't want him with that bad image. I mean, look, all the details that came out of all the shit that he's done, the DUI, the coke. Oh shit, here we go. Say something, Marion, because that shit's gonna pop up.
Yeah.
You see this, guys? You see this, everybody watching Keyboard Warriors? This is Fred Kirby in his Halloween costume right there. Number one dick rider.
That's fucking cute. I'm going to Google a fucking retaliation for this. I'm going to find the number one fucking hater sign because I tell you what, more of a fucking hater. So I tell you what, DW better be glad he fucking suspended Jon Jones because the internet would have exploded tonight with fucking Dr. Robin's hate had he not.
Here's the thing, though. I was about to say before. Had they not stripped him of the title and suspended him, oh, here we go with the Sasquatch picture.
Yeah, that's the fun one.
That is a fun one. All right, everybody comment on this on YouTube if that does not look like Fred Kirby's twin cousin.
Or Fred Kirby. Fred Kirby after 2 days of not shaving. So that
All
is.
right, I'm all done fucking with you, Fred. I couldn't help myself, buddy.
No, he's not. I'm waiting for the next one. Anyway, so like I was saying, had Dana White not stripped him and not suspended him, imagine the shitload of fucking hate he was gonna get for that. The UFC would have gotten buried under shit. And at the same time, they're trying to get to New York. They're trying to, they're trying to convince more and more people that they're a legit sport, which MMA is a legit sport, but a lot of people aren't convinced yet. You're trying to get into New York. You're fighting a bunch of horse shit, and then this happens, right? Where it makes your light heavyweight champion, the best fighter you have in the world, does shit like this. And then the details come out of what he did: ran up a hill, ran back, grabbed cash, which I think was wrapped around coke, and then ran off.
He was high. Christ. Everybody keeps telling. He ran down. He ran up. He was fucked up. Got him some slack. He had a butt.
He might have panicked.
No, Fred, don't cut him some slack, but understand people who have never engaged in drug-type activities, that is what you might do. If you run a red light, hit a pregnant woman, fuck up your rental car, run 50 yards and go, ah, shit, I forgot my stash. You do a U-turn, you run back, especially if you run as fast as Jon Jones, because you know the 5-0 is not going to be there before you do another U-turn and jump over a 6-foot fence. And let me tell you what, if he was jumping over backyard fences, yeah, there was definitely something besides marijuana in something. Let me tell you what, guys who smoke marijuana don't jump 6-foot fences. They find a door.
All right. Well, hey, look, Fred, how long do you think the suspension, because it's indefinite, but how long do you think the suspension holds up?
Until he gets his shit together. I still think there's more shit to come, man. I don't think he's going to go to jail. I think he's going to have to still pay some hefty fines. And I think there's a fucking rehab coming, man. I think that either he'll personally do it himself, DW, the Godfather, will fucking recommend it, or the judge. I think his funny ass is going to rehab in some kind of way. And I think whenever all that plays out, I think he'll be ready to come back. I would say we see Jon Jones. I'm going to predict that we see Jon Jones in the end of the year show. The December 31st, the January 1st, whatever the end of the year card, the big card at the end of the year. I think he'll make it back for that, and that'll be the big one. Hopefully fucking Madison Square Garden or some crazy shit.
That would be, I think, too much for him. I think that'd be giving him too much. It's almost like rewarding him. But maybe he deserves a reward after going to rehab. But, I think he needs at least a year off, not just to deal with all the shit. We still don't know what the case is going to be like. I think he's going to get off with a slap on the wrist and everything. But on top of that, just aside from the legal troubles, he's got to take care of himself. At this point, it's an obvious problem. Dana White's going to say something about it. Fertitta's going to say something about it. His family, if they're good to him and they're good people, are going to care about him. Are going to tell him, hey, go away for a while, get your shit right, come back with a clear mind, and then let's see what we got from here. But Aaron, with this, okay, so let's say he gets probation, which is what I think he's going to get. All right, do you suspend him for the length of probation and longer, or just as long as the probation is active?
No, I think that it's going to be at least 6 to 12 months. I don't think they're going to base it on whatever the legal system does. I think they're going to base it on, look, they're not just going to hang him out to dry and be like, okay, Jon Jones, you are our best champion in modern times. They're still going to be talking with this athlete. I imagine that they're going to enforce their own type of monitoring system, to where, let's say that he gets 18 months probation, because that's a possibility in this case. It's a Class 1 misdemeanor. They could actually give him quite a bit of probation. If they don't want him to be gone a year and a half, I imagine that during that they could always say, look, if you want to be part of the league, we're going to do random urinalysis or something like this. I think it's like exactly what Fred said. They're going to let him back when they deem that he's ready to come back. I disagree that it will be like what Eddie said, though. I agree with Eddie and kind of disagree with Kirby on the idea that it will be some fantastic show. The show will be made fantastic because it's Jon Jones' return, but I don't think that they would make such a pivotal move like that. Look at 187, which is rapidly falling to shit. Best card of 2015, no doubt. Jon Jones already fucked that in the cornhole. So I seriously doubt the inaugural Madison Square Garden show Are they going to say, hey, you know what? Let's put all of our eggs in the Jon Jones basket again and let him fight over in Madison Square Garden if that happens? I don't see that being the case.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I see that happening is that they somehow build this up as the triumphant return of the hero. He's done everything right. He's fixed his own life. He's super Christian now and all sorts of shit.
Well, okay, wait, stop with that. Why does he always have to be super Christian if he's going to fix his shit? None of us on this show give a shit about that. So
none of us care.
Super Christian.
Okay, Tim Tebow, that's why. Okay, the only reason Tim Tebow gets any fucking attention, even though he's a shit person that can't play the quarterback position or in football, all right, he gets attention because he is a super Christian. That's the only way. So you use that fucking angle because that's gonna get motherfuckers on his side. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm saying it's marketing.
I'm just saying, no, he says he's a Christian. I don't believe in God, but he says that he does. So I'm just saying that if he fucking truly believes, maybe he starts fucking practicing what he preaches. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying he says he is, so maybe he'll fucking actually do that shit.
You know what I want to see? If he's going to clean up, great. But don't have him revert back to that bullshit good guy routine. We all know that was a fucking act. It was bullshit. I'm sure his friends and relatives are like, what the fuck are you doing when you're on TV? Because you don't act like that in the backyard, John. John, just act like you do in the backyard, man. We don't care if you dig Christ. We don't care if that tattoo is bullshit or whatever it is on your chest. We don't care. Just get healthy and don't be an asshole when you come back.
But wait a minute, though. But wait a minute, though. Like, how much of that do you guys attribute? Okay, so listen, though. How much of his fucking drug use, now that we know that he probably has definitely had a drug problem for quite a while now, possibly his whole fucking UFC career, since it dates back to his college days, how much of that do you attribute to the way he acts? I mean, listen, do you think the fucking guy could go to rehab and actually come back? Maybe not a fucking super Christian, but just a legit nice guy. Didn't he fucking chase down a criminal one time and, like, save an old lady? Or some shit like that?
The dude probably owed him money.
No bullshit. You know what? I'm finding the hater thing for you, fucking Aaron, because you don't just fucking hate. God damn it. People can change a little bit. The cocksucker can come back and he can actually be, you know, maybe the drug usage did make him a fucking a double-faced cocksucker.
Hey, hip-hop Kirby. I agree with Eminem. People can change, but only for the worse.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, you hate-filled cocksucker.
Hey, look, man, the guy probably stole Jones' 8-ball and he was chasing him down like, give me my coke back, motherfucker.
See, no positivity on this show at all. I'm a little positive and I'm a dick rider.
You see, the first step is admitting you have a problem. Exactly. That's a great move, Fred.
You are positively a dick rider. That is the truth.
You cocksuckers missed the point of that altogether, clearly.
No.
Let's segue.
Hey, Kirby, if you want a kumbaya on the show, go find Nick Pilecki.
Yeah, clearly those fucking days are over. Jesus Christ. Let's take my dick riding into the fact that your boy just got a pass now because he was going to get his fucking ass handed to him, and now he just got a complete fucking question mark of a fighter.
No, not according to you assholes, both of you guys. Now you have switched the penis that you are riding to DC immediately. You guys have given Rumble no shot. You're just like, oh, now it's DC.
Oh.
Now DC's going to destroy Rumble.
That ain't even what I was talking about. I was talking about Cowboy, who was going to get destroyed by Nurmy.
Oh, by another guy that you have a custom saddle for his guy.
There we go. Either fucking way.
Well, we'll talk about Khabib in a second. Let's get back to this DC Anthony Johnson thing. I was never saying that Anthony Johnson can't beat Daniel Cormier, but I'm saying it's a great fight. I think DC has a really good shot at beating him. I never say he's going to destroy him. I never even say he's going to finish him. I think DC has a really good shot just off the power and the wrestling, but Anthony Johnson could positively fucking knock him the fuck out in the first 15 seconds.
All right, all jokes about dick riding and hating aside, what's the deal with DC's training camp? Because this stuff all just went down with Jones, and he wasn't preparing for Jones. He was preparing for Bader, right?
Right.
So at least we have a DC who wasn't given just short notice. It's just short notice that he's going to go from fighting the world's most boring wrestler to the UFC's hardest striker.
Yeah. So at least he's been training. He hasn't been sitting on his ass. I mean, allegedly. But I don't know. It's a better fight in my opinion than if you gave Anthony Johnson. I mean, what are other names that they were going to give Anthony Johnson? Anybody know?
Who else could they give him? Nobody.
Exactly. Ryan Bader immediately tweets out, "Oh, I'll do it." I'm like, yeah, I want to see Ryan Bader die in the fucking cage because of a right hook.
That's another thing that's intermingled in this whole 187 fuckaroo is that people are actually whining. It's so hard for Ryan Bader to find an opponent. Then I just read 2 minutes before we got on, Ryan Bader's manager wants to wait and fight the winner of Rumble in DC. What? On what planet? Why would Ryan Bader get that fight?
He can fight the loser.
Maybe the loser, but certainly not the fucking winner. The last thing he did was what? Blanket fuck OSP for 15 minutes?
Yeah. He's out of his fucking mind. There's no way he's getting the fucking winner. And I'll tell you something, Aaron. I completely fucking disagree with you. Or no, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I do disagree with you. But I even disagree with you, Eddie. I think that fucking DC is going to make fucking Anthony Johnson look easy. I think Anthony Johnson is – I'm not sold on that dude at all, quite frankly. You know what? I actually went back and watched a little bit of the fucking Phil Davis fight. I got to say, I ain't all that sold on Anthony Johnson's knockout power. He does fucking knock out people, and he does hit hard. But Phil Davis, quite frankly, is a shitty striker. And he made it 15 minutes with Mike Tyson, or this vicious striker that you guys speak of. He couldn't even knock out Phil Davis. Now, he did clip Gustafson, but I don't think that – I don't know, man. I don't buy it, dog. I think that fucking DC might make the first round kind of boring, but by the middle of the second round, Anthony Johnson's going to be sucking in wind, and he's going to get taken down and completely finished before the end of round 4, latest.
What's a better fight for Johnson, Jones or DC, in your opinion, Fred?
A better fight for John, or a better fight for AJ?
Johnson. Yeah, for AJ.
It's a fucking good question. Jesus Christ, I don't know. Maybe Jones. I think DC's a bad matchup for AJ because I don't think that AJ is going to knock DC out. DC's a big fucking man. I just don't think he's going to drop him with a punch or knock him out. And DC is going to suck the fucking energy out of AJ. I think that Jon Jones would have tried to strike with him, and I think that DC will fight a smarter fight. So I guess that Jon Jones possibly would have been the better matchup because I think Jon was just crazy enough to try striking with him. I think DC will probably push him up against the cage fucking early and often.
Yeah, with DC's cardio and all the power that he brings, I agree with you. I think he will blanket him. I just think, Anthony Johnson's got so much momentum. And I'm a big believer in momentum, right? I mean, just look at Cowboy Cerrone. But, I'm a big believer in momentum. I think if AJ comes in and just, he's doing what does he say? Fucking doing what he does. I don't know how to fucking throw that out. But, he could win the fight. But, DC already came out as a slight favorite. I think he's more than a slight favorite for all the reasons you said, Fred. But I also think you can't underestimate AJ striking whatsoever. Or his power.
Yeah, he wouldn't want to underestimate him necessarily. I think AJ could definitely knock him out. But I don't know, man. I'm not sold on it. I think DC's kind of a bad matchup for AJ.
Okay, Kirby, you said that DC's a big man?
Yeah.
Is he bigger than AJ?
Good question. I haven't checked that out.
No, he's 3 inches shorter.
Okay, for starters, that don't mean fuck all.
No, wait, I'm not done. Just settle down, Chewbacca. And in 2013, Anthony Johnson was fighting heavyweight. You always bring up the DC was doing this at heavyweight and doing that at heavyweight. Anthony Johnson is a fucking monster, dude. He's 6'2", probably walks around, 235, 240, cuts down. This is 2 heavyweights that make it to 205. Here's my thing. He's a wrestler, and that's all fine and good. And you're always talking about AJ sucking wind by the second round. I think that your mind is still stuck in the AJ that had to cut 60 pounds to fight. Those days are over. Do you know what I mean? And let me tell you what. Your boy DC didn't look all that energetic after round 2.5 against Jon Jones. he started looking a little gassed out himself, like he was hoping for some Popeyes and some Twinkies.
Fucking.
So, I don't know. My jury is still out on all of that. I don't think it's going to be the fight you think it's going to be, and I think Daniel Cormier is going to be surprised as fuck.
Well, anything's fucking possible, but I'll tell you this. AJ might be as heavy as a heavyweight, but he did not compete at heavyweight. He broke Arlovsky's jaw, and that was about fucking that. I don't think that AJ could beat Josh Barnett. I don't know if AJ could beat fucking Antonio Silva 3 years ago when he was fucking roided out. Not the Antonio Silva that smashed out Fedor. Anthony Johnson is a big man, but I think when fucking DC grabs a hold of him, there'll be a noticeable power difference. And not like striking, but grappling. A different fucking kind of power.
Okay, be prepared to be surprised.
I'll be prepared for that episode of Keyboard Warriors when you get shit on.
That's going to be a fucking fun one afterwards.
You're either.
Listen, all bullshit aside, I am glad that DC just stepped up and we still get a fucking fight, man. I was kind of worried that nobody would do it and they'd try to keep that fucking Bader fight together. At least we still get that fight, so, like, actually, so let's segue now into the fucking Nurmi fucking thing, because actually, 187 isn't that horrible with DC stepping back in, or it fucking actually would have been just fine had my boy not got fucking hurt.
Nurmi is Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is out, and I believe it's due to knee injury, unless you guys heard differently. Last I looked it up was yesterday, and it's a knee issue, but meniscus or something like that. But he's out. In steps John Makdessi. First of all, how disappointed are you, Fred, that Nurmi is out?
Fuck, man, terribly. Especially since fucking me and Aaron have been going back and forth about the Cowboy and Nurmi fight. This fucking sucks, man. I think that Nurmi
my boy's still in the fight. Where's yours?
Oh!
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I knew that was fucking coming. Whatever. He's fucking dodged a bullet because Nurmi's the uncrowned champ.
Listen
and
to
Donald
this guy.
Cerrone didn't have shit for that
all
dude.
the time with the fucking bullet dodging. Hey, you know what? AJ's lucky that Jon Jones did coke and hit a pregnant woman. He dodged a bullet.
Hey, no!
He's lucky that Nurmagomedov is a pussy and pulled out of a fight. He dodged a bullet. You only got one fucking horse left, Fred. I would tread lightly, you bad luck motherfucker.
AJ didn't dodge shit. AJ dodged right into another bullet because he's fucked. Now, Cowboy did dodge the bullet because he got fucking Makdessi. And I don't want to shit on Makdessi because he actually did look pretty good in his last fight, and I think Makdessi's a good fighter. But I don't think he's ready to fight Cowboy yet. I think they fucking lined Cowboy up another fucking... I hate saying shit like that because I don't want to feel like... I don't think they lined up an easy win for Cowboy because who knows, right? Makdessi could come out and knock Cowboy's funny ass out. Makdessi's not a fucking joke, so anything's possible. But it does... It's a weird decision, though, a little bit. Aaron, it's a weird decision, though, right? Like, it does feel a little odd, man. I mean, especially when Masvidal was out there and he was kind of campaigning for the fight. He fucking legit, well, not legit, but...
Oh, on that note, Masvidal will be campaigning for the fight on Stand and Bang. And Fred, before we do our show, and to the audience, Fred and I are good friends. This is all in fun. So don't get all scared when I'm about to say this.
Oh, God.
It amazes me the speed in which you change cocks. Do you use in between to make sure you're fresh? Oh, my God, dude. It's amazing. From one to another. You must get your fucking train ticket punched more than anybody on earth. Buddy, wait until the fucking paint is dry on the new poster before you switch. One bullet to another, you're crazy. And let me tell you what, Nurmi, fuck that guy. He's starting to be like fucking Kane with this fucking I'm hurt every other day thing. You know what? Maybe he should be a circus sideshow and go wrestle bears and hug on Luke Rockhold's nuts. That's what I think about all of this. And as far as Makdessi taking on Cerrone, you're wrong, sir. That is a fucking joke. That is a bullshit fight. There are way better guys, and there has to be a fucking reason. Because let me tell you what, that does nothing but hurt this card. There's guys like George Masvidal waiting in the wings. Probably, 4 other guys that we can name immediately who could step up into that fight and make it something. And then they pulled John Makdessi out of their ass? This guy wasn't even on the fucking fringe of the radar until he took out a guy who was, making his debut last month? I don't even know what the fuck to say.
Yeah.
Look, and let's look at the names they could have given him. Jorge Masvidal immediately comes out and says, "Hey, I'll fucking take that fight." Michael Johnson was another thought for that fight. Benson Henderson, another guy that could put in that fight. Iaquinta could have put in that fight. There's a bunch of guys, and they get a guy that's not even ranked top 15, maybe not even top 20, in Makdessi to fight Cerrone. This looks a lot to me like a guy you want to keep fucking winning.
Eddie, there you go. Perfect for bringing that up. Let's look at both sides of the coin. Let's look at Jorge Masvidal, a fighter that never, ever gets a break. They never give this guy a good fighter. And then when they finally do in Al Iaquinta, he gets fucking robbed. And I'm still sticking with that. Yeah. Al Iaquinta, you lost that fight. The crowd booed you.
Fuck you.
You lost that fight. Plain and fucking simple. Fuck you, Fred. The whole thing is this. There's two sides of that coin. They could have fucking finally gave George something worth his 7 years or whatever that he's been in the UFC. Let him step up on short notice. Win or lose, it would have been big money and it would have been big publicity for him. Other side of that coin is why not Iaquinta? Obviously, they're grooming this cat to go right to the top, right? So why not let him jump to the top of the elevator, see what he can do about it? There's two reasons. Three. They want Cowboy to win. That's one. They don't want Masvidal to have any chance to beat a guy like Cowboy, and they don't want Iaquinta to lose. Because that's, in my opinion, Cowboy handles Iaquinta pretty handily at this point in his career.
But, yo, let me play devil's advocate for a minute, man. Is the UFC making a mistake here? Like, you know, fuck, man. Makdessi's not a wrestle fucker. He is a striker. Them are small gloves. What happens if Makdessi comes out and Cowboy's getting his fucking penis kissed the night before and he takes him lightly, as all of us are, and fucking Makdessi fucking knocks out Cowboy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit's a kind. You know, listen. The good thing with putting Masvidal or Iaquinta or any of those cats, Michael Johnson, in that fight is if one of those fuckers gets lucky and knocks Cowboy out, you can run with it, right? You got a new fucking contender. You got if Masvidal comes in and knocks Cowboy out, then bet you got somebody pretty decent to feed to Nurmi when he gets back. But if Makdessi gets lucky, give Makdessi. You was talking about cute cocksuckers on Facebook talking about giving Makdessi the title shot. Child, please. I don't think that Makdessi should even fight Nurmi when he gets back if he wins.
No, you're preaching to the choir on that. This is what they call in the UFC a lose-lose for Donald Cerrone. If he wins, he loses. Who gives a shit? He starts John Makdessi. Who? Nobody. If he loses, holy shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Makdessi has nothing to lose. And fighters who've got nothing to lose, they go in there a little bit more relaxed. They expect to lose. They are expected to lose. The only thing that could possibly happen is that he got lucky. And a bunch of people who have a fucking underdog going on, like, you know, betting on the plus or whatever, holy moly. You know what I mean? Those guys are going to make plenty of money that night, and Donald Cerrone's going to look like an asshole, but Makdessi won't go that far up the ranks. That's what will happen. If he happens to win, it'll just be the case where they're like, whoops, that was a mistake. But he won't fight Nurmi next, and he won't get a title shot. He'll just tumble back down, kind of like Joe Soto. You remember that guy?
Yeah,
who fought for the championship of the world, and then we haven't heard from him since?
Yeah, he's fighting Anthony Burchak in New Orleans.
They're finally doing that fight again?
Yeah, finally. They were supposed to fight back when Soto, who, by the way, is the sparring partner of T.J. Dillashaw, fought T.J. Dillashaw for the title.
And, by the way, Joe Soto, a roommate of Jon Jones, along with Colby Covington.
Oh, that guy had a lot of friends that know him and they're fighters.
Fun.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Those parties were fucking fun, weren't they? Goddamn. The 8-Ball brothers all hanging out, allegedly.
Funny thing is Joe Soto told me about pillow fights.
So they're gay, too?
Those guys had pillow fights. That was his big thing during his interview. He's like, ask Jon Jones about pillow fights. I was like, look, little Joe Soto, Jon Jones doesn't answer my calls. You tell me about pillow fights.
Hey, pillow fights. We want to hear about the cocaine usage and all the who-is.
No. I know what pillow fights means, okay?
Yeah, maybe that was
literally. Yeah. No, it's literally fucking putting coke and just coating it inside the fucking pillow, the little fucking cover for the pillow, smacking each other in the face, and they're all like, Oh, give me some more of that shit. That's all that is.
Again, Eddie, clearly a reference that you have no idea how expensive cocaine is.
Hey, when you're as rich as wait, no, that's true. They're not. Look, man, I don't do coke. Never done it, and I've seen it in person. I never touched it. That shit scares me.
All right, this isn't a dare program. Fucking get over it. Kids don't do drugs. That's it. All right, guys. Honest opinion from both of you, starting with Ed. How much? What the fuck are you looking at right now?
Sorry, my Cardinals just picked a tackle, which I'm okay with, but the guy's overweight as fuck. Anyway,
Listen,
sorry. Go ahead.
Don't go full retard on this show.
I'm not. Go ahead. Sorry.
Christ. All right, Ed. First off.
Yeah.
How fucked up is this card for you now? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, Jesus Christ. If 187 was a 10 before, where is it now?
Man, that's okay. Losing Jones, kind of hit it a little bit. Getting DC for me, kind of brought it up a tiny bit more. It was not more. I would say maybe an 8 to me.
Fred?
Yeah. You know what, man? Honestly, the Jones thing is kind of disappointing, but not too much at all. I think that Anthony Johnson and DC is a great fight too, and I think it's a really good test for Anthony, so it doesn't bother me that much. Honestly, it wouldn't be that bad at all for me. It would still be a solid 9, but Nurmy not being on the I was going to fucking attempt to actually say the cocksucker's name. Him not being on the card takes a lot of fucking steam out of it for me, man. So probably an 8 too. But if they had not lost Dude, AJ or DC is a perfectly fine replacement for fucking Jon Jones. That's not that bad at all, man. Really.
And nobody, we failed to mention completely that the co-main event is a fucking title fight. That's another thing that has amazed me since this Jon Jones, Daniel Cormier, Anthony Johnson thing. Everybody's forgotten that Chris Weidman is fighting Vitor Belfort. Everybody has forgotten that Vitor Belfort is, junkie this and frickin' juicer that and the other thing. All of that stuff stopped. It was almost like that fight no longer exists, which, that's kind of a big thing. I mean, how often do we see 2 titles potentially switching hands? And obviously the light heavyweight title, it's not what you'd call an inaugural or even a, it's not an intermediate title or the interim title. That's for the real title. So I don't know. For me, the most disappointing thing is Nurmy, even though I'm not a big fan of his. That fight to me was the biggest detriment of the card.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm fucking discussing shit with people here, but I'm done with football. In fact, I'm turning off the TV. Okay.
Tackle, fucking yeah, cut that shit off. Football sucks.
It's off. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. All right. Here's the thing. How many? Okay, let's start with Aaron. Do you really think Weidman or Vitor actually make it to UFC 187?
Absolutely.
You think so, Fred?
Yeah, fuck. I hope, man. I mean, it's close enough. And you know what, Aaron? You bring up a good fucking point, man. That's a great fucking fight, and I'm almost a victim of it too. Between Nurmy getting hurt and John fucking getting pulled, I knew the fight was there, but I keep forgetting of how great a fight it is, man. Listen, Chris Weidman is a very interesting character still. He's got the 2 interesting fights with Anderson, and then he's got the win over Machida, but that looks a little less impressive now that fucking Luke Rockhold just fucking straight bamboozled Machida the last time he was out. So I think this is a really cool, interesting, important fight for Chris Weidman's career, man. I think that they both will make the fight. More importantly, how do you guys actually see this fight going? Like now that you remind me that this massive fight is happening, what do you think happens? Aaron, what do you think is going to happen in the fight?
It's tough to say because arguably we're seeing a different Vitor. People keep saying that, and we have watched a lot of fights, my friend, and we have seen what happens when a guy is no longer doing TRT. So if Belfort has trained the right way to retain his strength, then I never count him out. I mean, arguably, he came the second closest or first closest to beating Jon Jones with that straight armbar. Because if he would have been able to put a couple more pounds on it, it wouldn't have mattered if Jones tapped or not. He would have busted his arm. And, you know, if Tim Sylvia has shown us anything, Frank Mir showed us anything, you don't have to tap. If your arm breaks, you're done.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, and the thing, didn't they say, sorry, real quick, on that Vitor Jones fight, didn't he say something about he let it go a little bit when he felt the pops?
Yeah, but he shouldn't have. When you feel
Right.
the pops, that's when you really fucking break it.
No shit.
You're not in there to be a nice guy. This isn't a popularity contest. He had a chance to be the light heavyweight champion of the world. So if that's true, and he eased up when he felt the pops, well, then you did the wrong thing, Mr. Vitor. Now, Chris Weidman, you're right, is an interesting character. For me, he's a lot like Rich Franklin. I want to like him, but I'm always worried that he's not going to perform when he's in that cage. He's been talked up so much that when he does win, I'm a little surprised. Like when Machida started to get momentum against him, I thought he was going to get snuffed by Machida. Obviously, you always think Anderson Silva is going to snuff a guy. So when that happened, you know, when he knocked him out, I was surprised. When he broke his leg, even more surprised. But then you kind of look at some of the wins he strung together, what he did to Mark Munoz. So for me, to me, that's a coin toss, guys. Honestly, I could see either guy winning, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I will say this: I am kind of jumping with Fred, I believe. I think Luke Rockhold is going to be the next middleweight champion. That no matter who wins this next fight, Rockhold is probably going to get the next fight, and I think he ends up wearing the strap at the end of that night.
You know, Weidman and Machida went all 5 rounds. Luke Rockhold finished Machida, all right, in impressive fashion, mind you. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to see Luke Rockhold versus Weidman. I think that is the fight to make, all due respect to one Jacare, but beating the shit out of Chris Camozzi and embarrassing him without actually getting the armbar in does not give you a goddamn title shot. So that's kind of what that is on that one. Now, you guys want to go over the card itself since we've been talking about it?
What else? No.
Quickly. Can you guys give a little disclaimer? I didn't get to see it last night because I was off doing other horse shit. But can you guys tell people how shitty the new Tough is? It blows, right?
Oh, my God.
Just quickly, we don't got to spend a lot of time on it, but can you just at least let the fucking 3 people watching know that they don't need to waste their fucking time because it blows?
All right, so most of the show is about the coaches hating each other. That Glenn guy is worse than a used car salesman who sells you dog shit. I can't stand that motherfucker. The other guy's just annoying as shit because all he does is talk about how shitty the other guy is, right? You barely get to see the fighters interact with anybody, and that's just on the reality TV part of it. The fights itself, Dana White has said it for the 2nd week in a row. Well, that really sucked. You know, he literally said that after the 2nd fight. It's the Blackzilians, to use Aaron's term, wrestle fuck everybody into a decision win. That's literally what they did. To their credit, or maybe not their credit, but the ATT guys haven't brought shit. They haven't done a goddamn thing. 0. So the fight sucked. I'm sick of the fucking coach or the owners. I'm just kind of done with it, man. I'm gonna fucking time it to where I can just watch the fights and hope they're decent.
You know what's worse is that they do tough talk right after.
Oh God! Look.
And then you've got Karen Bryant, who is arguably either 1st or 2nd in the list of shitty analysts. I don't even know. Okay, I don't even want to speculate how Karen Bryant got her job. But then you got guys from the Blackzilians trying to pump up these young guys who just put on a shit performance, and they're like, well, this is their one shot, so I mean, why look good? Don't try to look good. Just play it safe. Hold the guy down. Maybe stick your pinky in his ass for a little while. We don't know, but just get those 2 rounds down. No, don't praise them for putting on a shit performance. Do you know why the first 3 seasons of Tough were awesome? Because those fuckers went at it like animals. That's why. That's what made that show a beloved show, especially the first season. That's what caught all the casuals' eyes. That's what made the UFC what it is right now. My opinion on the Tough right now is either get better or go away. We've had enough seasons. 21, 22 of them, it's enough unless you're going to start doing something that creates more interest. How about this? Make the show 3 weeks long. Just show us the fights. Who gives a fuck about the drama in the house? Fuck all you cats. Let me guess. You're going to piss in somebody's fruit salad. You're going to get mad because the eggs have somebody else's name on it. You're going to get drunk and say, come at me, bro. Go fuck yourself. We've been seeing this shit for a decade now. All right? Come up with something. Go the fuck away.
I completely agree, dude. Overall, the guys that they're getting. I mean, starting. You know what? I have to agree with you. Those first 3 seasons were the best, and after that, it's just slowly gone down. In fact, I enjoyed the Tough Latin America season quite actually a lot. The one with Kane and Verdun as coaches. I thought that was a great season. But since then, they've all kind of sucked. This Tough Brazil season's been decent. I don't know if you guys anyone's watching that. If you have Fight Pass, go watch that shit.
I'm not counting the four.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, the ones that are on TV are dog shit.
Those are completely different. I'm talking about the ones that are available in English for us and are carbon copies of every past season that has sucked now for the last 15 seasons.
The only way I want to see a new Tough at this point, judging based on what you guys have said, I kind of dug season 4, I think it was, the comeback.
The comeback was badass.
I think if the UFC put a little money out there and took a couple cats from ONE FC, snagged a couple Bellator, some names that we would recognize, and threw something really important, maybe not a title shot, but maybe like a title eliminator, like you win Tough and you fight fucking whoever for a chance at the belt, just something to make these guys, like Aaron said, come the fucking fight. To where you don't want to hold nobody down, you want to fucking knock somebody the fuck out and win this competition and get back to the fucking UFC, you know what I mean? Or get there for your first time, you know, Ben Askren's and cats like that would really get people excited, you know, as opposed to Joe Blow from fucking the Black Zillions.
You know, Fred brings up a great point. You're right. The comeback probably was the last hurrah as far as Tough is concerned with me. And then let's go back in time. When did Matt Serra fight George St. Pierre? How long was that?
Fuck. 7, 8 years, something?
Right.
A long time ago.
So we're talking about a show that has sucked for almost a decade. But they keep jamming it down our throats because it's expected. You know what? It's okay, man. Just kill it. Find a different way to get prospects in there. Change the format of the show. Make it a different kind of tournament. Don't put them in a fucking mansion. I don't fucking know. Throw them all down in a pit and don't feed them for 6 weeks and see what happens. That would be more interesting than what the fuck I have to watch right now. But no, whoever's watching right now and whoever watches this in the future, the 100 or so or 200 or whatever we finally get, don't fucking bother. Wait till they do the big marathon at the end. Get with a few friends, watch the 12 fights or whatever the hell it is, and be done with it. But something's got to change because it's garbage.
That was a good point. You know what? Ironically enough, the last loss that the prestigious, beloved George Rush St. Pierre had came to a winner of Tough, the comeback. So who knows? Maybe it's not a fucking crazy idea as people think, man. Fucking give somebody a title shot. Who the fuck knows? I would be interested in that. If somebody actually got the chance to fight Chris Weidman or whoever the fuck and go through there, that would be... I think it would actually spark some real intrigue for that show because at this point, I think you guys are right. Just judging on what you guys are saying about it, it's fucking dead in the water, Jack.
Do the comeback season, like the comeback 2, and put Jon Jones in it. How's that?
I love it.
Have one. You know how they do these like obstacle course things and shit for the coaches. Do one where it like Jon Jones has to run through an obstacle course surrounded by cocaine and he can't touch it.
Cocksucker. Couldn't go fucking 10 minutes without bashing my boy, could you? Always kicking a man.
I was going to say we could put Nurmagomedov in there, but if there was an obstacle course, he'd hurt his fucking knee. So we can't do that with him either.
You know what's funny is Nurmi tweeted out not too long ago saying, "Well, fuck that shit. Even if I get hurt, I'll go in there with a broken whatever." And now he fucking turns his knee and he's like, "Oh, I can't go." The thing that got me about Nurmagomedov, we're gonna go back to that shit, is that he talks so much shit. He talks so much shit, and it bit him in the ass. And now he hasn't tweeted out a goddamn thing.
No, but Pettis did. Did you see that?
Oh, Pettis got his. If you're Pettis, you go all in on Nurmagomedov for talking all that shit. And RDA just sits back like Michael Jackson eating popcorn.
Yeah, he said something about him getting paid for disability or something, because I believe after Pettis was injured, that's what Nurmagomedov had somebody else text for him, because I'm sure he doesn't understand our sarcasm that well, but he was like, "So, what are you making on disability?" Well, Nurmi, what are you making on disability now? I thought that was a real good dig, and you're right. It seems to be the cocksuckers that talk the most. As soon as they can't as soon as they can't do what they're supposed to do, they shut up forever. So, number one, Conrad McGillicuddy, he's about to be silent for what, 7-8 years after all the bullshit he's talked? That guy will disappear. That guy will disappear faster than Angela Magana.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are gonna feel real fucking salty a year or two from now when fucking Conor and Nurmi are champ.
Oh my god.
No, I won't.
Okay, wait, hold on. On a serious note, before we jump off this lightweight shit, who the fuck is RDA gonna fight now? Like, does Cowboy get the fucking title shot with a win over Makdessi? But if he doesn't, who the fuck does?
No,
I don't know why they're making him fight. I would have canceled that fucking fight and said, okay, Cerrone RDA later card. There you go.
No, I think that was one of the options, but obviously Cowboy wants to fight. He had tweeted out a few times that the only thing that hurts on him right now is his bank account. So he wants that fight. I think that's why he's fighting. The Makdessi's like a placeholder. He whips his ass, and unlike Jacare, who beat Camozzi's ass, didn't get the title, I think Cerrone fights next for the title. And that's pretty interesting to me. Both fighters are different now. RDA is different than he was, and Cowboy is different than he was. So I don't know. I'm interested to see that fight.
I thought for sure Cowboy was gonna say, "Fuck it, I'll wait." Like, there's no way he's broke. Well, maybe he is broke. I don't know how that guy is. I know he fucking does a bunch of crazy shit. But, I'm not a big fan of guys like, oh, I'll just take this fight against some shit name or whatever, a guy that I can easily beat. I'll take it in between this fight and the title fight. Because, for example, and this is a long time ago, and let's go into a different caliber fighter, Mike Tyson was supposed to fight somebody else when he took the Buster Douglas fight. And what did Buster Douglas do? Knocked him the fuck out. And after that, Tyson had a hard time winning a goddamn round.
Buster Douglas didn't beat Mike Tyson. Robin Givens beat Mike Tyson.
Good point.
You know what? The more I think about it, fuck it. Just to disagree with fucking Dr. Robbins, I want to go with Makdessi. I'm going to say the Cowboy doesn't do very good when he gets fucking punched in his face. And I'm going to fucking say that he takes Makdessi very lightly and fucks around and gets upset. That's what the fuck I'm going to say.
Do you remember what happened to the last fighter that Cerrone was upset with? Miles Jury.
Oh, with the Miles Jury.
He stuck his foot all the way up his ass. Makdessi is going to end up with 2 black and blue legs before he ends knocked the fuck out or choked the fuck out. And that's what's happening. But, hey, if you want to be silly, go ahead and put your money on your little phone and, go ahead and show us the little bet that you made, because it always makes me laugh my little ass off to know that you just lost $30 on a stupid bet.
Yeah, well, it didn't fucking turn out that way with Crow Cop, so who knows? Maybe I fucking will. I'm fucking banking on the fact that, either way, I'm banking on the fact that Cerrone takes this shit less than seriously. And listen, all things being equal, Cerrone does have a problem with that. You said that you were that you would be excited to see the rematch with him and RDA.
Yeah.
Not me. I thought Cerrone looked fucking meek and timid in that fight. As a matter of fact, I thought he had the same look on his face when Nate Diaz was stopped and slapping the piss out of him for fucking 3 rounds straight. For some reason, I think if Donald Cerrone doesn't break you early, he tends to fucking look like he doesn't have a backup game plan. He probably will break Makdessi early, but I tell you what, if he doesn't and Makdessi starts sticking him, I think Donald Cerrone could fuck around and end up having a bad night.
I will tell you this. If we're ever lucky enough to have Donald Cerrone on the show, I'm going to embarrass you.
Oh, shit.
Hey, whatever.
So, Mr. Kirby, you were talking all sorts of mad shit a few weeks ago about Donald Cerrone being a weak-ass bitch and not having a backup, not being that good of a fighter. Why don't you tell him that right now?
The fucking slander. I never said he was a weak-ass bitch. I just said he folds under pressure.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah. No, fucking
right.
weak-ass bitch is not.
All right, instead of hating on each other all the time, let's let the fans understand that we are good buddies, and let's talk about a person who we will have on the show here pretty quick, making her UFC debut. The Karate Hottie's finally making it over to the UFC. Eddie, what do you think about the old Karate Hottie coming to the 115-pound division of the UFC?
I'm excited that they didn't make a 105-pound division to bring her ass in. I'm excited about it. I'm a big fan of Michelle Waterson. I saw her unfortunately lose her title in Invicta to DeBrucio in Houston, but still like one of the freaking best looking fighters out there, female fighters out there. But on top of that, she's actually a really, really nice person. I mean, she came in with a black guy and still gave interviews and all that shit. She was really, really cool. But on top of that, the skills are there, the speed is there, and they're gonna feed her Angela Magana in her first fight. I'm excited to see just what she can do at 115 pounds. Because again, she fought at 105 in Invicta. But at 115 pounds, I'm not sure how big of a difference that is, but I'm assuming Magana is going to have a size advantage on her, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I've talked with her before, and I know that it's a struggle to cut down to 105.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, easier to cut.
Here's the thing. Even if Magana has a size advantage, the last time I saw Angela Magana fight, she looked like an untrained, an untrained person from the crowd. It was embarrassing. I had no idea how the hell she made it into tough or what her credentials were prior to that. But she looked terrible. In my opinion, if she looks like that against Waterson, Waterson gets it done. I mean, Michelle Waterson's been fighting a hell of a long time. Fred, what do you think about the Magana matchup?
Again, man, let me get my Zuffa zombie on a little bit. I think that Joe Silva's the man, and I think he knows exactly what he's doing. The Karate Hottie is already kind of a star, I guess. She's definitely a name, and she's coming to the strawweight division. And if anything, right now, that women's strawweight division needs some names. So she's going to bring a nice little bit of hype, a nice little bit of attention to the strawweight division. And what do you want and need from her and her premier performance? Something good. And who do you give her in that case? A shitbird. And God love you, Her Majesty, you are a shitbird. So hopefully the Karate Hottie comes out and styles on you, and you can go on into obscurity, and she can kind of get a nice little fight to get her feet wet. Because as we talked about on the show before with Angela Hill, the UFC jitters are a real thing, man. That first fight for her will probably be a little odd. She's been a big fish in a small pond with Invicta, but even with her name value, she'll be a bit of a small fish in a big pond with the UFC. So I think it's the perfect fight for her first fight in the UFC, for us to kind of get introduced to her, hopefully her put on a really good performance, and then in her second fight they can kind of give her, somebody of actual talent value that we can really see what she's going to do at 115. But this should be a showcase fight for her.
Yeah, and I agree with you with that, with Joe Silva being a fucking genius when it comes to that. Look at the names that are starting to build up in that 115 division. Obviously the champ, Johanna. Carla Esparza has been a name. She just lost, I get it, but still. Rose Namajunas is a name in there. Paige Van Zandt starting to come up in that division. The armbar Russian chick is a scary bitch. Or sorry, with all due respect, scary chick in that division. They're starting to get a lot of names in that division. More names than the 135-pound women have. Arguably. So he's starting to build up. Yeah, he's starting to build that 115 division for sure. Now, here's the thing about it. It almost seems like poor Angela Magana, they're just trying to get rid of her ass, and they're trying to find a reason to get rid of her. And when Waterson finishes her, because she will finish her, that's just going to be one way to just cut Magana out of the UFC immediately.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Do you really think that the UFC doesn't follow people's social media a little bit?
True.
She's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
She's a fucking idiot. Beck Rawlings a fucking idiot. All of that shit needs to fucking go away, man. Just like I've said how many times, Top 20 was a fucking bullshit sham popularity contest. And the women who can't fight need to fucking go, man. That's why there's other fucking divisions. Go away. I don't want to hear your majesty bullshit. First off, you're a fucking skank. That's what that shit is. Anybody who buys into your bullshit, that's another fucking thing that I don't like about social media, man. Let me tell you what. If Angela Magana tweets, I go out of my way to put fucking gutter skank on everything that ever gets retweeted across my fucking thing. Be realistic. Don't suck people's toes. Don't fucking kiss their ass. If somebody fought like shit, if you don't want to tell them that they fought like shit, that's fine. My mom always said, if you got nothing nice, don't say nothing. Obviously, I don't listen to that woman. But I'm just saying, if you want to keep that's great. But don't lie. Don't lie and buy into somebody's fucking bullshit hype train and blow up their ego and shit like that. That's what's happened with Beck Rawlings and Angela Magana. You two couldn't fight your way out of a wet paper bag. Time to go away. And the fans that support them, it's time for you to go away too.
Now you hit the nail on the head, Aaron. Though here's the thing, man. You got to be able to fucking fight a little bit too. I don't really have a problem with you selling yourself with good looks. Like Paige Van Zandt gets a lot of hate because she's a good-looking broad, and I don't mind that really. I think that's good. That adds to it. But she's got the talent to back that shit up. If you're going to go around calling yourself Your Majesty, and she does got a decent ass as far as it goes, for what it's worth. But if you're going to do shit like that, you need to fucking be fucking good. If you're not that great, it comes off as fucking tacky and lame, quite frankly.
This is where I have a problem, even with fans like you, Fred, and you know I love you. You never hear somebody go, you know what, I don't really like Conor McGregor for all the talk that he does, but that ass, though. Who gives a shit if Magana has a nice set of butt cheeks? I don't care if she's got the best turd cutter on the face of the planet. If she can't get it done in the cage, it's time to go the fuck away. This is the UFC, not a goddamn playground. This ain't fucking glamour shots. Go the fuck away.
You know what? Have you seen Fred's bio on Twitter? It says lover of big booties. All right, that's why he gives a shit about her ass. I mean, that's kind of what it is. But going back on, you know what trips me out of Magana? She fucking takes trips to Thailand to train Muay Thai, and then comes in and sticks it up in the cage. I don't think that shit's working. She needs to save her money.
Yeah, no, I don't know what she's doing in Thailand. Maybe hanging out with ladyboys. I'm not exactly sure. But she's not training at a real Muay Thai camp and fights like she does. I can tell you that. I know plenty of Muay Thai fighters. She, sir, is not one.
Well, not everybody can be a fucking fighter, as the famous DW said. Listen, I could go to Muay Thai tomorrow and kick banana trees till the goddamn cows come home, and I will not be a Muay Thai fighter.
Fred, you can't go to Muay Thai tomorrow. Muay Thai is a sport, not a place.
Fucking Thailand. Thank you, fucking Dr. Robbins, with your Harvard degree. I could fucking go there forever. Just because she went to Thailand and trained fucking Muay Thai does not mean shit. That doesn't mean, you know, they sold that on tough, but at the end of the day, so fucking what? Donald Trump can go to fucking Thailand and study Muay Thai. That doesn't mean he's going to be good at it.
No, but he could buy it.
Yeah, true.
Let's get back to Michelle Waterson here. Obviously, former Invicta champ. Very, very talented young lady, very, very good-looking chick. And that's one point I want to make about the good-looking women. It helps exposure. All right, Ronda Rousey's a good-looking chick, and she's a badass. All right, on top, relax, Aaron. Anyway, on top of that, all right, she gets a lot of exposure out there. She did swimsuit edition, all that shit. I love the fact that Paige Van Zandt is a hot broad that goes out there and gets fucking photo shoots and, you know, endorsements. It gets the UFC and MMA's name out there, you know. Michelle Waterson's going to be doing the same thing. Felice Herrig tried. It didn't work that well. But still.
Hey, she's going to American Ninja.
Woo! Wait, the fucking little obstacle course TV show?
Yeah. Yeah, her manager and herself, Brian Butler and herself, tweeted out that American Ninja accepted her. So she's going to start training for American Ninja.
Good. Get the fuck out of fighting. Fuck it. Get the fuck out of fighting. No one cares. I'm kidding. She's actually kind of talented. She's not an Angela Magana, for sure. But
she's a veteran of the sport. And hey, do whatever
sure.
you want to do. And that's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm not saying it's bad that these women are good looking, if they're actually good looking. And you're right, it is marketable. But you, like what Fred said, that's the most important thing. You got to be good looking, and you have to be a world beater. And I know, ladies, we're putting a lot of pressure on you. But it's a simple fact. I would rather see a semi-ugly chick in the ring who kills people, Cyborg, other than a great-looking chick who can't get anything done.
Misha Tate.
Did I say Cyborg out loud?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, too, man. With that shit, it's all relative, man. It all matters in building up a star. You know what I'm saying? Like with Conor McGregor, man. We talk a lot of bullshit about Conor, and we love to fucking argue about that dude. And he's a lightning rod for controversy. But what you can't deny is that the guy's got actual skills. He is a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? He does fucking he's undefeated in the UFC. He hasn't lost for a long time. He's backed that shit up. You've got to have both things. Mighty Mouse is a fucking fantastic fighter and can barely sell tickets. Like, it should be a big deal to watch this guy fight. He's one of the best fighters on planet Earth, and nobody cares. And I keep making the comparison to Floyd Mayweather because I feel like they fight in a similar fashion. Very technically sound, slightly defensive. They do everything right. But why the fuck on earth is Floyd Mayweather going to sell 100 fucking cajillion pay-per-views in a few days, and nobody gives a fuck about Mighty Mouse. It's because it has to be that perfect fucking storm, man. You gotta, just tying into the girls that look good, that helps. That's part of the whole fucking process. You don't have to look great. Fedor wasn't a fucking great looking guy. Djerdjic's not a beautiful woman, but like, they're killers. So you've got to have a little bit of fucking something to get that star going.
All right, so we've gone way off the rails. So guys, Waterson wins this against Magana, absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think she gets a title shot early next year and probably wins, if not late this year.
And probably wins. You think Michelle Waterson would beat Johanna Jędrzejczyk?
I think someone else is gonna beat Johanna before Waterson gets there.
Who?
I don't know. I have to go through a list of names. Johanna's a killer, right? But I'm not. I just don't think. I think if that fight goes to the ground, I think if someone get her to the ground, it wasn't Carla, but if someone get her to the ground, I think she's in a little bit of trouble.
Besides our fine delusional Mexican friend, I say that Johanna keeps the title for a while. But now let's get off of this, because both of you guys were on my ass about being the grumpy old man who didn't want to talk about the largest boxing match in the history of boxing matches. So let's close this show with what, Eddie?
All right. Manny Pacquiao taking on Floyd, the woman beater Mayweather, this weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand. Boxing scripted. It might as well be pro wrestling, in my opinion. Fred, you suggested the topic in the little chat thing. What do you think on this?
Well, I touched on it a little bit earlier, man. I think it's just ironic that this is such a huge fucking fight. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the interviews or any of the publicity leading up to this fight. It is fucking huge. And I mean that in a way in which we don't really understand in mixed martial arts. Like, I don't think that we have any comprehension of how big this fucking fight is going to be. It's $100 a pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
In fact, time out real quick before you move on. You know how much it is for bars to show it? $9,000.
Dude, let me ask you motherfuckers a question. If the UFC offered a pay-per-view for $100, how many people would buy it, and who on earth could they put on there? If Kane fought Jones in the rehab facility, they couldn't charge $100 a pay-per-view. Nobody would buy it. That is fucking insane. And what is more insane to me is the fact that Floyd Mayweather is not a fun fighter to watch motherfucking fight. He has made this career. Now, he's great, technically sound, sure, but he's made his whole kind of career off of just being the bad cop, off of being the guy that everybody wants to see get knocked out, man, and he has turned it into something fucking huge. So, you know, I don't know, man. I guess all things considered, I don't really give a fuck about this fight, but I figured everybody else on planet fucking Earth does, so we should at least give our opinions on it. I do think that it's the nail in the coffin for boxing. This is it, Jack, right? Like, this is huge, and I give it to boxing. It's going out with a bang. But I just don't see boxing coming close to replicating anything like this, let alone fucking, I don't know. I don't think that boxing even does anything half of anything like this ever again.
You know, here's the thing about this fight. I think that Manny Pacquiao is going to win a decision. It's going to be complete bullshit. It's going to be set up. And they're going to make double the money on a rematch. It's just about money. It's nothing to do with it. I used to love boxing growing up, dude. I used to fucking love watching these guys, especially my Mexican fighters that they're my heroes. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez.
Hold on. Sorry. Cocksucker. Fucking, Andrew Reid just fucking tweeted us. It's $30 in England.
Yeah, he fucking told me that shit yesterday. I couldn't believe it. It's fucking horseshit. You know where it's free? They're showing it in Mexico for free. I'm trying to get one of my cousins down there to stream it to me. Completely legal.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
Oh, I'll be watching it free.
Oh, I'm not paying for that shit. Fuck out of here with that. But anyway, you know, I used to love boxing, and this is definitely the last gasp for him. It'll be this one. Manny will win this one, be a decision whether it's a good or bad one, and then Floyd Mayweather, and then we'll do fight number 2, make a shitload of money, and that'll be it. Last gasp for him. They got nothing else. There's nobody else. Boxing used to be great when you had guys that were real warriors in there fucking fighting their asses off. You don't have anyone like that anymore. Now you have a bunch of counter punchers who are cocky as shit and too many goddamn titles. I don't know how many titles either one of those guys holds, but they're fighting for like 10 of them this weekend. So that's kind of what it is. Aaron, any opinion on this one?
Not really any opinion that you guys haven't said. I think that any fan that pays $100 to watch a boring-ass defensive Floyd Mayweather performance is an idiot. And all you boxing fans who might tune into this, you can hate on me all you want, but you know it's true. In your heart of hearts, you know that for the latter half of his career, him running around and playing defense, and great defense, it's beautiful defense, it's the best defense in boxing history. But you know what? You know what the best defense is? A good offense. Go in there and knock some motherfuckers out. And not when they're looking the other way and they think the ref has the fight stopped.
Or when they're looking away and they're a female.
Yeah, do you know what? Well, Eddie, would you get off that fucking shit? Jesus Christ, this isn't a goddamn.
Hold on.
We're not seeing if this guy gets on parole. Get the fuck off of it with this shit, bro. We're talking about a boring ass fight. Yeah. So there's gonna be what, $170 million on the line or some fucking crazy
200 plus. Yeah.
Ridiculous, right? For a boring ass 50-minute fight, you're gonna sit there and wish something happened. Because the fight's going to be good for 2 rounds. And then we're going to settle in to 3-minute rounds where it's Pacquiao trying real hard to fight and Floyd Mayweather trying real hard to avoid fighting. And to me, that's not worth a fucking nickel. So I hope it is the last hurrah. We had Stitch Duran on the show. And if anybody knows boxing, I'm guessing it would be the most famous, the most eminent cut man who's taking care of everybody from Mike Tyson to Klitschko to our sport, Fedor to, Jon Jones, Kane. He's been around. He knows. And what did he have to tell us? Absolutely. It's done. The Russians have taken over. We no longer have amateur boxing programs in the inner city. Mm-hmm. We no longer have colleges that have Olympic boxing programs. All that shit's gone over to Eastern Bloc countries, Russia. It's gone someplace else. So enjoy it while you can, boxing fans. Drop the 100 plus, sit around and watch Mayweather be boring as fuck because it's the last time that there's ever going to be a fight like this.
That'll be it. And I hate the title, but it is the fight of the generation because that is the last one most likely. So, all right, fellas. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we end it here for the night?
Nope. That should be. So just for the record, though, Aaron, I assume that you're picking Floyd Mayweather by decision?
Yeah. I'm picking Floyd to keep his 0 by boring-ass defensive running and fucking Manny Pacquiao out of a chance of actual fighting. Here's the thing, just like we talked about, Fred, if Marquez had not knocked out Pacquiao and had Pacquiao gotten to Mayweather when he was still coming up the weight classes, when he was still a fucking vicious killer, I think he might have been able to pin Mayweather up against the ropes long enough to land a couple of those good shots. But I think he's kind of ebbing now. I don't think he's got that same thing that he did before the Marquez fight. So, yeah, I got to go with Mayweather on this one, even though I love Pacquiao.
Much as it pains me to admit it, I agree with you 100%, Aaron. I think that, had he got him back then, maybe, but at this point, I think that Floyd wins the fight, and it's boring as shit. I hope I'm wrong. I hope fucking Pacquiao knocks his motherfucking ass unconscious. And I expect you to hit us with a meme fucking immediately. If he happens to sleep Floyd, I want to see that shit immediately.
All right.
I got Manny Pacquiao because the shit's scripted, and I don't believe for 1 second that they don't already fucking know who's going to win. So, Manny Pacquiao wins. We get a rematch in a few months for more money, and then they both retire, and we don't give a shit about boxing anymore. So, that's just my opinion there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning into the second Keyboard Warriors of the week. Check these guys out. Fred is at Kirby_MMA. Aaron is at Stand, the letter N, Bang, Radio on Twitter. StandandBangMMA.com. Check out their latest, in fact, tell them about your latest episode, man.
Are you talking about the one we dropped on Monday?
Yeah, Munoz and Aljamain.
Yeah, we have Mark Munoz saying goodbye to the sport and Aljamain Sterling talking about going into the top 10. Really good show. Mark did great. You could go see it over on our YouTube channel, Stand and Bang MMA Podcast. This week, this week, though, I'm super excited. We have George Masvidal talking to us about wanting the Cerrone fight, and then we'll have Michelle Waterson joining us to talk about getting signed with the UFC. So I'm sure that you will see both of those guys on the MMA Hour whenever that show comes out, because Ariel Helwani seems to scoop me 2 days after I have my show. But hey, Monday, Tuesday, I'm the king. Go watch Michelle Waterson and George Masvidal.
Hey, you know what? Perfect fucking time to get those two on your show for sure. And if you're not already a Mark Munoz fan, you'll be if you already are one, you're gonna be a bigger one now. And if you're not already, you're gonna love Mark Munoz after you hear this interview, because it's seriously the most honest interview from an MMA fighter I think I've ever heard ever. So definitely check these guys out. StandandBangMMA.com and Stand and Bang MMA podcast on iTunes. Subscribe to that shit for sure. And you can reach me at Eagle31 and the page over at Crossroads MMA. So all right, fellas, you guys have a good night. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys around.
All right, fellas.